What is something that works in real life but not in movies? Just explaining the situation. When my wife is mad at me, I take a moment to explain why I did that thing, and usually she is no longer mad at me. In a movie, she would say, "No, Stinky, just don't start crying," and exit stage left. Then we'd spend the next hour and 15 minutes in turmoil because she wouldn't give me a chance to explain that I didn't know that was her piece of cake. Cue why I refuse to watch almost any romantic comedy. 90% of them could be resolved with a couple snuggled up on the couch happy again within 4 minutes. Side note, these films also create unrealistic expectations for a lot of women. See, crazy women, who think that those dramatic grand gestures to apologize for extremely mundane things are the norm. Monsieur, common sense. There is a killer on the loose picking us off one by one. We should totally split up. Sometimes you cough and don't die in the next hour. If movie logic about coughing meaning death were true, we'd be really screwed by coronavirus. Social etiquette, such as saying goodbye on the phone. Sound checks. When the awkward guy goes up to the podium and the microphone squeals and everyone laughs, that doesn't happen unless the sound guy is an idiot. That squeal, it's called feedback, is the no. One thing that most sound technicians want to avoid. So they go through before a gig and set their levels so they have headroom. Monsieur, then if someone is soft, they pull up the volume and they know where they can push it to without it feeding back. So yeah, I get a bit annoyed when they use that gag. Because it doesn't happen unless your sound person skipped their sound check. And that just shouldn't happen. Especially if the sound person is being paid to do the job professionally. Eating. I hate it when people in movies take tiny bites of food, then continue to chew that one bite of food through a 10-minute conversation. When the conversation is done, eating is done. Sometimes they don't even eat. They just keep playing with it, talking how dangerous the job is and how they retired of it. BC, they are too old for that. The legal system is your no. Your sob story won't sway the jury. No, the judge won't allow you to waste the court's time with a ridiculously long and overly personal monologue, tracing phone calls in under 30 seconds. It's instantaneous in real life. This trope needs to disappear from movies, television. It's so dumb and so overused, particularly in procedural cop shows. But maybe IRL if the kidnapper thinks he has 20 seconds to make his demands without being traced. Because that's what is seen on TV. Maybe it would be beneficial to let this fallacy continue. Yeah, I'm going with the idea that they keep a lot of things like this in place. So stupid people committing crimes think they can get away with it a lot easier than they can transferring money from one account to another. IRL, you just enter the amount and transfer. In movies you must have a big digital display that transfers the money $1 at a time. Now TBF, the bad guys are usually trying to use some super secure untraceable transferring system to get the money undetected to their offshore accounts. I don't think this is your run-of-the-mill send your grandson $5 directly transfer. If being chased by a car on foot, just make a sharp turn and run behind a building or something. Or when something tall falls, jump to the side, don't run the length of the damn thing. Fences and gates. In the movies, cars go through them like they're finish line tape. But those gates are hundreds of pounds of solid metal. Your Chevy Impala is not getting through one without tearing up the front end and setting off the airbags. Which reminds me, fucking airbags. Do any movie cars have airbags? Sometimes. In comedies an airbag will randomly deploy just to ruin someone's makeup. Does that count? Taking 5 minutes to explain the situation so the entire thing doesn't explode over misunderstanding. Shootouts. How come the main character never gets hit but they're being sprayed by a SWAT team of like 10? To be fair, said SWAT guys are hip firing on full auto. Not exactly surpursing, they don't hit anything. Snipers are the only people who actually aim in movies. There's a bit of truth in fiction there, as I think even trained marksmen miss a lot when firing autos in stressful situations. Plus, suppressing fire, etc. Doorknobs. So many unnecessary locked doors and/or broken handles. I was going to say the opposite. Doors are always unlocked or easily kicked in movies. Every plan that's just like, step 1, we'll break in. Step 2, I'm always like, hole up, how are you doing step 1 quietly and seamlessly again. Quote, lol, I guess it does go both ways. You're right. Fucking CPR. Nothing makes me more angry than the character going, no don't go, at another and never attempting CPR. Compress that damn chest and shut your mouth, Jessica. Drooling on her cheeks won't bring the girl back. Damn it, he's gone. Nothing I could do. It's not true, you dumb fuck, you left him to die like a bitch. Asterisk, frustration noises asterisk. Discussing problems with your significant other instead of prattling on for 2 hours of gratuitous conflict. Going on toilet. Yeah, there you are just minding your own business and nothing happens. But in the movies, a Tyrannosaurus Rex comes along and eats you. When y'all gotta go. Passing legislation by making deals and compromising in committee meetings so that the bill has the necessary votes by the time it hits the House floor. In movies, legislation can only pass when a member of Congress makes an impassioned speech that moves everyone to tears. Outnumbering your opponent in fist melee fight. There are 6 somewhat competent bad guys attacking one good guy, who also sometimes handicapped in some way. In real life it always ends one way. In movies also in one, but in opposite. My car starts when I turn the key in the ignition. Even when I'm in a hurry. I can think of 4 times in my 20+ years of driving that the car just refused to start. People who say, let's discuss this over lunch, and actually end up having lunch, instead of having a 5-minute conversation at a restaurant and leaving without having ordered anything. Fully admit I think with my stomach. But it drives me crazy when they are in a high-end restaurant or diner with absolutely wonderful food and they barely touch it. If I was a chef who painstakingly made food just for some dick to just take a bite and leave, I'd try to kill him. Monsieur, all that work, all that energy and time. You're gonna sit down and enjoy this fucking meal if it's the last thing you do. In movies people get up after you kick them in the head. Most of the time that is not true in real life. Head kicks work in real life. Resolutions. Enhance. Security cameras. Car windows. It just takes a tap to shatter in movies. Elevator safety measures. You won't believe how many movies with zombies has a scene where the door closes on the zombie's arm, and it chops it up as the elevator moves. Real elevators have sensors and would reopen. Though I guess that'd be a shitty movie if the characters made it to the elevator only for the door to stop closing and reopen to let the zombies kill them. Monsieur. Cell phones. And they are never locked. Grab character A's phone and you are in. Not a 6-digit code or a thumbprint. Helicopters. Asterisk, boom, asterisk. Physics. Saying, hold on, let me explain. Keeping the knife inside the body. Negotiations unless it's a movie like Captain Phillips, great movie by the way. Not being attracted to a pudgy middle-aged comic. In movies. Person 1, listen I can explain. Person 2, no. Person 1, I don't want to hear what you have to say. Asterisk, person 2 walks away. Asterisk. If person 2 had listened the movie would have had no conflict. In real life people are much more likely to listen to your explanation. Also, you're more likely to explain whether they want to hear it or not. Legs. Apparently they stop working as soon as you really need them to run or when you get a really bad news. Well, sometimes the shock of bad news causes you to blink and not notice anything, so you feel like your whole body goes numb. Like when I was told my grandfather was dying, I felt like I wasn't able to stand. Tanks. In a movie you could pass through 5 buildings without getting a scratch. But in real life a tank only can pass trough, a house only is poorly made. Two, some are very fragile and a little malfunction could bring the loss of one. Phones in tense situations. It's like movie phones can smell their owner's fear, and will lose signal for no reason the moment they are being chased by a killer. Shooting people. Common sense. Agreed, they don't use their common sense in most of the movies, don't know why? Stabbing the bad guy. He won't die and then magically come back for a fight. Camping. Talking it out. If there's a terrorist holding a bunch of people hostage, negotiation never works. You have to send in buff deadlift to shoot enough people until everything is okay. Likewise, if you are a parent trying to protect your daughter from an overzealous suitor, the only thing to do is punch him in the face or hold a shotgun and mumble vaguely menacing things. So much more in real life is accomplished by talking and negotiation. I think it's lead to people believing that we actually need to forego talking for violence in real life. Going to work, coming home and minding your own fucking business. The ones just trying to do that are always the ones being fucked with. John Wick was just fueling up his sweet-ass ride and shit got started. Michael Douglas in Falling Down was straight up just done and snapped. I guarantee if he got to make it home 45 minutes earlier and had a bong rip or two waiting for him, that sewer line never would have blown up. Which, by the way, caused more traffic, I'm sure. Grin. I do that shit every day and works like a charm. Communication. A simple conversation in real life clears a lot of things up. In many TV shows and movies, if they did the obvious thing and just talked to each other, then the entire plot would be over and the movie would be done right away, since the entire premise is commonly miscommunication, using multiple people to fight somebody and winning. A killer is after us. What now? Quote, first of all, call the police. Then, maybe don't try to 1v1 a dude who is basically trained to kill. A single guy single-handedly trying to beat an army of mercenaries ending up being killed in just a minute. Real car accident. Recording in horizontal. Getting to see boobs. Wait, actually, reverse that. Boobs getting to see you. I mean, that counts too. Tanks. Me. Common sense is the best reply to this question. In movies they don't take things through common sense. Headrests in cars don't actually get in the way as much as movie directors seem to think they do. My legs do not go on without me. Mobiles, especially in slashers. Cell phones when you're chased by a serial killer, stuck upstairs, stuck in your car, etc. Running, fighting, bathrooms, feet. In a horror movie people run for their lives, and then inevitably trip and die. Problem solving. Quite a few movies could be a lot more simple if people had this. That scummy corporate executive gets away with screwing their people over. It seems to me that movies and shows always has these characters, but they always get caught. Not to say that never happened in real life, but executives have gotten away with an awful lot of shit in real life. Not having to cock the hammer, rack the slide, or pump the shotgun after you find your mark and point the firearm at the monsieur. Seriously, if you're in a situation where you have your gun drawn, it should already be ready to fired. Jumping through glass. Time. Starting a car. Slipping in between jail bars. Either passwords, common sense, or the ability to count. Having a minor heart attack. Cornering. Surrounding a dude with a massive force. Highly trained mercenaries. Unless they are the good guys in. Preferably Americans. Running away without tripping every 5 seconds. Dialogue. In Walker, Texas Ranger, when everyone is doing melee fights when you know they all have guns. One shot, one kill. Helicopters. Need I say more? CPR in movies, they can't use it properly or they risk damaging ribs. Laws of physics. Bowel movements. Apparently, you don't see superheroes and action men having to do a big poo before they go out. Riding a motorcycle under a truck. being awkward. For some reason, movies just don't get it the way real awkward people do. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.